Alrighty, good morning, everyone. Bright and early today. So today the market is actually closed. We're in the weekend. So I did want to make a short video. I got a question from one of the viewers. He asked me how to tell if your stock is a dividend stock, basically. So short answer is Google. That's always the quickest, easiest answer. You can Google a stock, or you can Google dividend stocks to figure out what stock is a dividend stock, which stock is not a dividend payer, and kind of figure out what their purpose of being on the stock market is, basically. If they're like a growth company. Simple way to sum it up. But another way to check is on your brokerage. So depending on your brokerage, you can click a stock or something like SPY. You scroll down a little bit and you'll see 30-day yield 1.05%. So that means it does pay dividend on this one is on a quarterly basis. It won't actually tell you if it's quarterly or monthly or semi-annually or annually. That's definitely something you would want to look a little deeper into. Either way, you always want to research a little bit into the stock before you buy. I know I haven't shown too much research on my side, but I kind of already know some of the companies I like to buy. I'd say the only one really I didn't have much info on is Campbell. But other than that, all the other stocks in my portfolio are some that I already personally have. So I already know kind of what I look at when it comes to when I want to buy and how much I want to put in. So don't use my video as like a exact blueprint on, okay, I need to buy this now, or you always want to do your research prior to buying. My videos are more for entertainment and to kind of show you the power of dividends more than to actually teach you where exactly to invest your money and buying specific companies. I wouldn't say that's really the purpose of my videos. Now, all the companies I have here, I can't say any of them are really bad. And a good way to think, or a good rule of thumb, is look through your household and see what company makes products that you already buy. Whether it be something simple like toothpaste or body wash, or maybe the products that you use like a television, who's the manufacturer, where did you buy it from? Example, if you bought your TV from Walmart is on the stock market, so maybe you wouldn't want to put a little bit into there. I think it's a good rule of thumb, but it's definitely not financial advice. I don't want to get in trouble for getting advice, as I'm not allowed to legally, but it's a good rule of thumb. You're buying companies that have track records. We don't want to buy companies that have, sure, they have 100%, 200% upside, but they're not proven. We're buying proven companies that pay dividend either on a quarterly basis, some of them are on a monthly basis, and it's just for that reoccurring income. That's the goal with this portfolio. So let's just kind of sum it up. It was a short video, really intended to show how to find if your company or your stock pays dividend, because I know a lot of people are interested in getting into dividend paying stocks. It's almost like a passive income stream in a way. It's not fully passive. Yeah, you don't have to do much active managing, but it does take a little bit of money to be able to get the wheel rolling. So that's why I'm showing from the start with a very, very small portfolio, and I'm not putting 5,000, 10,000 in each month. I'm only putting money that to me is extra money. The paychecks I get from doing social media are not make it break it for me at this point. They're really there just to be like supplemental income. So for right now, I can invest that freely. A lot of people, especially nowadays with how prices are, it's hard to put money aside. So this is just kind of to gauge how a small portfolio could really change into a really big one, and the different ways, different strategies you can use to turn it into a bigger portfolio to affect your life, make a better quality of life, make life easier for you. So maybe, hey, you want to take a vacation and you're worried about not getting paid that week, where you have dividend. So, hey, you can take the vacation and you still make the same. Maybe you make more, maybe you make a little less, but you're basically being paid to go on vacation. So that's really the main goal and purpose of this whole channel, basically, this whole TikTok page or channel on YouTube, whichever you're seeing it on. That's my main goal. So, with that being said, I wanted to keep it kind of brief. I know I kind of rambled on a little much. The point of the video was to actually show you where to find the dividend. But two good resources, always use Google for one, to figure out if you're getting a dividend paying stock, and also to, look a little deeper into the company. There's a lot of different things you want to look at. In another video, I'll break it down on what to look at in a company to know if it's a good buy, if you should expect the price to stay flat or go up or go down. These are more technicals. Now, the good thing with dividend stocks is you don't really have to, it's not make or break with technicals, because you kind of just want to get in to start getting those dividends, and then you can see from the point you got in where to buy, to kind of dollar cost average. As you can see here, like my plus and minus, they're all over the place. We got ExxonMobil almost down 10%, and then we have SPY almost up 7%. So you can kind of gauge from that point when you first bought where you want to put more money. For me, I would put more into ExxonMobil. I really like that type of company. I think they do really well when it comes to growing their stock, but also paying a very, very nice percentage on dividend and a very consistent dividend. It's usually always growing. I'd have to relook at the technicals to see how long it's been growing for. But companies like that, you don't have to worry too much about the nitty gritty. You can, of course, you can look into the nitty gritty to make sure you're buying it at the best price. But for someone like me, I'm getting paid once a month to put into this portfolio. I'm not too worried about getting in at the precise best time possible. I just want to get the dividends rolling. So again, with that being said, it's going to conclude this short little talk about how to figure out what stocks pay dividends and which ones don't. Till Monday when the market opens.